Okay, guys. So how many of you attended the previous demo, the last demo?
The yesterday's one?
Yes.
Yeah, I attended.
Okay. How about the other people?
I did not. This is my first session, but
Okay.
I already know some basics about Python. So if you want, you can, I don't know, maybe skip it.
Okay. So have you worked on any automation part, Hemant?
No, no, I have not. I just
Okay.
know the very basics.
Okay. How about Pushpinder and Mirzia? Mirzia, I think you are from my old batch, right?
Hi, Sagar. Yes, I am from your whole batch. So,
Yeah. How are you, man? And you can just tell some things about what we learned in the batch.
yeah, thank you, Sagar. Yes, even before I joined to your batch, so I wasn't sure regarding the network scripting, to be honest. But when I joined, I learned a lot of things, a lot of scripting. But right now, I can do scripting my daily jobs. I can write different scripts. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Mirzia. How about others? Anyone joining first day want to introduce? You can go ahead. Otherwise, we will start now. And Nagesh, you're from that firewall demo class, if I'm not wrong, right? I think you inquired about to visit our classroom here in Bangalore.
Hi, Sagar. Yeah, I just want to reach you out of them. So,
Okay.
uh, yesterday demo class, I have rewatched that. It's familiar to our related to my networking only. So I have to
Okay.
offline class recording sessions
Okay. All right. So we
classes.
can discuss that about the classroom later on. Okay. Or you can visit
Yeah, sure.
Monday directly our institute and we can discuss. Okay. All right. So guys, let's start
Uh,
for the day. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Anyway. So guys, so this is again demo 2. So we will not touch the very complex topic, but we will just see what are basic theory here involved in Python. Okay. So until you are good with your Python theory, it's difficult for you to get started with any automations scripting. Okay, so we will start with very basic. Not all the base theory we will take it today, but very less number of things. Then I can show you one or two practical lab today. So guys, this is one of the very frequently asked thing: variables. Do you guys know what is a variable in Python? No one knows. So variable is called as empty container that store the data and transmit. Okay. So what is data here? Data is, let's say, your username. This is a data. Let's say I write another variable name. Now, what is this data significance for us in automation? It's a port number. Agree?
yes.
This is a port number. This is a username. Let's say I have to define IP address. So I'll define a variable and I'll put the IP address this way. Okay, these are all different types of variables now because they are storing different types of data. That means here on the first example, you are storing a data which is a string type. In the second scenario, you are storing some numbers. In the third type, it's also a string. Okay. Now, how do we represent a string and what is string does? So remember, string is a alpha character, alpha numeric character. Nagraj, you can put on mute. Okay. So you can
Yes,
say that
I'm
it's
in YouTube.
okay. So you can have a alphanumeric data stored, but remember to insert it within the inverted comma. You can have a single inverted comma, or you can also store double inverted comma like this. Now this data type is of string in nature, alphanumeric. If I have to put password, let's say variable equals to, then I can say Cisco at the rate 123. Now this is a variable of type string. Even though you see numbers or characters, as I told, if you see the representation of single inverted comma or double inverted comma, they're collectively called as string in nature. And what is variable? Variable is an empty container where you can store the data. Okay. So data here in automation or in our networking is what? Like username, IP address, password, the CLI command, or in case you're pushing out some configs. So whatever you write on your computer screen, that has to be in one or other way to be pushed to the Cisco box, correct? So you have to have the data represented in a proper way. And variable will contain them, variable will store them. So let's say you want to store the data for username. So you can say it's a admin. Okay. Later on, you will define some more variable where you want to call password. So you will say this is the password. And also remember, variables are reusable. That means in your script, this is your script. On the first line, you're making use of the term variable and you assigned admin. Okay. Now, if you reuse the same variable name and you assign, let's say, password. Okay. So the next person, the next lines, these lines, if they are calling variable, what data will they see it as containing? They will see the one which is nearest to them. So the previous variable data might have flushed upon, get flushed, and you have the new data stored up. That is the drawback if you make use of the same variable. So that is why we better keep it different names here. We can keep it variable 2 and we can call it variable 2. So in that case, the data, whatever you stored is gonna remain throughout the script. Okay. So make sure that variables are reusable. So if you're using something on the first line and also using the same name for the second line, the one which are very close to that second line will fetch the data as Cisco if you use the same variable. That is why we keep a different variable name. So let's say if I want to store username, so I can call it as user as a variable name and I can assign the data as admin. If I want to put port number, then I can give it this way. If I want to give it password, then I can store it this way, Cisco at the rate 123. If I want to store CLI commands, so I can say CLI 123 just as a representation, and then I can say show IP int brief. So remember the left hand side, what you have, They are called as variable and they can be reused. So better to keep a unique name there. And on the right hand side that you have, that's the data. And data can differ in different programming language. We are talking about Python now. Java, C++, Golang, Ansible, might be they have a different representation to put the data, because data is used in every corner. But the way of representation would be different in different programming. In Python, we call it as string, numbers, list, etc. But in a different programming, that terms might get changed. Okay. So that is something which you need to remember from basic point of view. Variable is something which will store the data, and this can be called upon in our script. Data can be string, numbers. Okay, that is single piece of data. Single data I can see. So if you have only single data, username, password, port number, single device IP, so you can make use of string and number. Okay, but what if I want to run automation on 100 devices? In this case, I cannot go with a single data, right? Let's say if I wanted to store multiple device IP, say for example, or let's say multiple CLI command. So I cannot go with this structure. So what do Python have it for? That we call it as array of collection, or you can also call it as collections of data. And we have 4 methods. We have list, dictionary, set, and tuples. 4 different methods, and all this 4 has a different properties. Okay, the properties makes them look different to each other. Otherwise, we could have only have one, and we could have put number of multiple data in one format only. Why do we need dictionary, set, tuples? Property makes it different. So what are the different properties? Whether it will allow duplicate data or not. That is one important property. Say, for example, I have 10 data with me, or 10 device IP. Will it allow the same device IP to be reused? Okay, let's say if I am making use of some data and my variable name is XYZ. So you see that this is a duplicate data. These two are duplicate data, right? So some of them allow here in this list of 4, some will allow duplicate and some will not allow duplicate. That is one important property that differentiate one to other. Second property here is, are they indexable? Indexable in the sense, one second guys. Indexable in the sense, when you have multiple data kept in a order, we can assign them some indexable numbers. We can say that this is index of 0, this is index of 1, this is index of 2, and so on. Why this is important? Let's say if in future inside my script I just want to run the program for the device which is located at index 2, okay, which is storing IP of 1.1.1. I don't want to run on all the 10 devices. I just want to run on the device which is located at this index. So it's something like a order or a position of that particular data is. So if you want to find what is located at this index, 10th index. So basically that there will be a data, correct? So again, that's one property here. Some of them allows indexable, some do not. And that also makes them look one to other difference. Why some allows and why some do not, and how it is used. Then there is one more property called as ordered. So let's say if I put something, if I give something to this, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So what output expect do I expect? I expect the output to be in this order. This is called as ordered structure. But let's say you provide 1, 2, 3, 4 over on the script, but the output you execute is this. Once again, you execute, that is this. You execute one more time, it's gonna be this. Okay. Now these are unordered in nature. In unordered. So that's also a property here. Some of them are ordered. You can expect the order. The one gets executed first, then comes second, third, fourth. There are some here, for example, set, which do not have that property. They are unordered. The execution can happen in any order. Okay. And then so duplicate, indexable, ordered. What else? Do you guys remember anything? So let's say accessibility. So if I say that XYZ index of 2, so it should fetch me what is located at that particular placeholder. But if I do XYZ and 3, but if it don't give me the order, or it don't is unable to locate, so that means we cannot access that particular data, right? So one of them here do not allow the accessibility, whereas rest of them will allow. So these are some properties which makes them differ. List is different than dictionary. Dictionary would be different than set tuples. Set and tuples are different than list and dictionary. Okay, depending on the properties that we have put up. So each one of them, we will have it started in the next class. In the next class, we take it one after one. So let's not put lot of things today in the small class, so that you will start missing out. Okay. So that was about some of the data types: string, numbers, list, set, tuples, dictionary. Okay. Now regarding some conditions. This is very important topic here in Python, and also it bring life to your script. So let's talk about some case studies. Okay. My management wants me to make a report, or wants me to configure some config push wherever the interface is up and up. So what they want me to do is, they want me to put some description reserved for so and so reason, and might be they are asking me to do a shutdown, admin shutdown. Okay. See, now this is where the condition starts, because your interface can be down already. So if it is down already, then you will deal with some action. You can just put a print statement that this is already down and no action, no action required. But if the interface was up, so did you hear that word if? I said if interface was up. So this is what we use for making condition in Python, if else statement. So the interface was up, then I'm supposed to do this. I have to configure description and shutdown. So remember, the conditions are used using if else statement. You can also come up with some more logic. You can say if, elif, 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 and finally else statement. Okay. When do you think you need so many elif? Let's say you are writing a script for multi vendors. So if you find Cisco as vendor, then do this, 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 this. If you find your vendor to be Juniper, then do this, 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 this. Else, if you have Palo Alto, then do this, 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 this. Okay. So this way you can define different vendors here on a single script. And what happens in the else statement? Let's say you find out some IP which is a end device, a PC or a host, where nothing needs to be done. So you can just print a line saying that found PC or host, nothing to be configured. So in that conditions, in that sort of requirement, you can come up with if else statement. Okay. So this is a condition that in Python we use. Okay. So coming to something called as Python loop. This is also very important. I'll tell you why it is important. Say, for example, this was my script. Okay. And in this script, my management wants me to run it for Cisco, Juniper, Arista, etc., etc. Or let's say, or let's give a case studies. I have 10 device and I have to trigger 10 CLI command, 10 same CLI command on all of this 10. Okay. So how would you do without a loop? So let's say this is your device 1. You take a connection to device 1 and then you will trigger the 10 CLI commands. Agree? This is your first block. Then you go to device 2. You will execute the same CLI command for the second time. Then you go to device 3. You will trigger the 10 CLI. So the block size you just imagine for 10 devices. So if you have 100 device, this will go still further. Also, your manual efforts are increasing because you are going and defining it block by block. So in this case, when the things are repetitive, okay, repetitive or some sort of iteration, you're performing the same job on multiple devices, one after one. So we can bring up the concept of loop here. There are two types of loop. One is called for loop and while loop. And while loop internally got two different flavors. One is finite while loop and infinite while loop. All this has its own advantage here in network automation. For loop is the one which is widely used when you deal with multiple device, multiple CLI command, multiple config push. For any iteration process, for loop is getting used. Finite is whenever you're having some calculated iterations. One example I can tell you is about the Cisco's initial 4 failed attempts, login attempts. Most of the vendor have it. If you put a wrong password, it will re-ask you for the second time, then third time, then fourth time. And all the 4 attempts go waste, then you are getting kicked out. But if on the second attempt you're good, you will not go to third and fourth. You will instead get into the box, right? So that's a calculated method. You know that Cisco will offer only 4. There's no point giving 10. Cisco will not accept it. So for such things, you can go with finite iteration. Where comes the infinite? Let's say I have a Nexus device with chassis concept and it has 40 to 40 plus port. and the requirement is I need to check if the interface is up or down on multiple interfaces, right? So this is not a calculated iteration. Might be on one device, one Nexus device, there are 5 switch port that I need to check. Whereas on the second Nexus box, I might have 6 different interface that I need to check. And in the third box might be I have only 2 interfaces. So this is not a calculated iteration. You can go with infinite. Until you do a manual stop, this script will not get disconnected. Okay. There is one more case studies for infinite. That would be your periodic backup using automation script. Most of you guys know how to take automation. How do you take the backup using automation script? But very less people know how to take a automated periodic backup. That means every Friday, let's say at sharp 10 p.m. the backup should happen without any human intervention, or every day at 10 p.m. Again, this should happen without human intervention, right? So here also the infinite condition can be used because of the property that until we manually close the script will be in a idle mode. Okay, it will be in the idle mode, not consuming any resource or CPU, just idle mode. Whenever the condition of this is met, whatever time you have set, it will automatically trigger the script, do all the necessary things, and once again get back into idle mode. And then whenever the next Friday 10 p.m. comes upon, it will re-trigger that. Okay.
Sagar,
Yeah.
that periodic backup include like both outages and everything like as you said, every week backup, including that all.
So periodic backup
What's
can be
it?
any XY command for you. You might be running multiple
Okay.
show commands to fetch, right? So this will have this will be fetched and stored in your local directory. So whenever there is a outage or something, you can go back and refer to that particular date and see what was the routing table, what was the logs, what was the SNMP findings.
Okay.
Okay, so that way.
Utilization.
Yeah, you can see
Thank you.
utilization. Did it happen due to any utilization concept? Okay, so that was different types of iteration process. Okay, so okay, one more thing which we will take, and then might be we can get into some practical operators. So guys, there is a lot of operators here, like arithmetic operator. You have it assignment operator. You got a comparison operator. You have logical operator. Okay, identity operator. So these are some of the operator, and operators are heavily used with your condition when you set a if else statement. So your condition would be something like this. For example, you have x equals to 100, y equals to 200. If x is greater than y, then do this print. Else do this. So here is where the operator come into picture. So you can have equal or less than this, or greater than or equals to this, or a assignment operator with double equals to. So you know that Python can also be used for the as a calculator, right? So you can expect a lot of mathematical things that can be doable: subtraction, addition, modulus, everything that can be done. Okay, for that you need the operator. So this is arithmetic operator, assignment, these are comparison, logical, identity. Okay, again it goes hand by hand. Just using operator, we cannot perform anything. It has to be used in a condition, hand by hand scenario. All right. So for now, let's just keep very short and simple with the theory. Next class, we can have many more things. I will show you how to access a list, how do you access a data, how do you delete a data inside a list, how the dictionary is written, what are the tuples way of writing. That all those things we will discuss in the next class. So for now, let me show you some practical. So this is the lab that we use. You guys will get such kind of lab assigned. Once you enroll to the batch, you get it as a lab access. And when you log in, it takes you auto. So let me just show you from first step. So let's say this is the lab that is assigned to you. You will have your own access to login. And then you come here. Okay. So to power on any device, there's a way. You will right click on start button. So we have a Cisco ASA firewall, Arista, Junos, routers, switches. So you're feel free to add anything if in case you are working with Palo or any other vendors. Feel free to add that as well. So there's very simple option to add. If you click on node, so there are some options here. So let's say you wanted to add another Arista box. So you can just click and save it. See, now this is the box with you. You wanted to only have a automation done on the Arista box. So it's your choice. Okay. I'll show you the generic way of automating. You can, with just if 1 to 2% of modification, you can use the same script for another vendor too. If you're done with something, you don't need that, you can also delete it from the same terminal. So when you double click on any of the nodes like this, it will open the console. So you need to add all your management configuration on the first day. I'll provide you all the configuration which you need to do it. And then you will get this sort of IP address. So once you have the IP address, what you need to do is you need to do some self SSH testing. Because sometimes what happens if the RSA is not good, you will not have a SSH accessibility and you would be wasting your time troubleshooting your script, and you will come back saying your script is not working. But the chances are that from the networking side, your RSA was corrupt or something. See, right now it is good because I am already logged in as of now. Show users. See, there are two people now. One, I am connected via console, plus I'm connected via line VTY method too. Okay, so this is one way I can test if I have the access. Also, you guys can quickly check from the tools that we would be using. So this is a PyCharm tool. This is a PyCharm tool. If you have not watched the previous class, I have discussed about this. So this is the compiler we would be using. So there is a there is an option here called terminal at the bottom. You can initiate some ping. So you can say ping and paste that IP. Okay, 1 second. Let me take the IP. I'll open another switch as well because I will show you some difference. One was a router and another one was a switch. Okay, see, this is a IP of a switch. And what is this? This is with no IP. So let's exclude it. Let's say show IP into brief. Okay, see, I have two devices now. The one with fast Ethernet is a router, a old router. And one with these Giga Ethernet port is a switch. So let's do a ping here to both the IP. See, it's reachable. These are basic tests that we do it on the first day, because I've seen a lot of people then come back saying script is not working, but you need to do the ground level network testing, right? See, from ping, both is working. If you want to do a SSH to the router, old router, see, what error do you get? You get this error. Let me use it in the notepad. This is the error you would get it. Unable to negotiate with so and so because of device is offering another Defi element, whereas the operating system is not able to recognize or it is offering something else. So this is a issue between your operating system, wherever you're initiating SSH, with your Cisco box. Okay, this happens when you use a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system. What is the workaround? You go to that Ubuntu box and open up the SSD servers and put this whatever Defi Hellman so that particular operating system don't create any problem. But for us in automation, we don't need to worry because our script will take care of this automatically. So that is the advantage of using script. If it was a manual process, you have to do the necessary changes. You go to your Ubuntu's terminal, open up the SSD process, and add the missing Diffie-Hellman groups so that your RSA SSH works. And this happens with the older box. If you check out our switch or something, that should not happen. We can give a try. 78. See, this is also something which you might have seen in the networking. This happens when you have a latest box. So what it says that it is trying to add that particular RSA key. And do you want to continue? Yes or no? So you normally say yes and go ahead with the next step. These are two scenarios that we see when we take a SSH. But when we do automation script, we don't need to worry of this at all. It will see what is that device about, and accordingly it will take the action. If it is to say yes or no, script will automatically say yes. If it is to add some missing Diffie-Hellman, then it will add that missing things to us. So we can actually rule out these two steps from the automation script point of view. Again, not all the libraries capable of doing that. Only few libraries can figure it out. These libraries can do the necessary things. But again, in the library also, there are some old library. So in that case, you have to manually put the fix. You have to add a auto key policy missing if you use Paramiko. Whereas here, it will automatically consider this two issue and bypass so that you don't face any problem. Okay. So that is some basic check which you will do. You should have the SSH prompt getting opened. If the SSH prompt don't get opened from the application, that means there is a reachability problem between your PyCharm and the device. And in that case, don't spend time on writing and troubleshooting the script. Instead, work on the reachability. Why your PyCharm is unable to SSH these boxes, even though they might be in the same network. Ping is working, SSH. Then you do the network layer of troubleshoot. So let's say once you have the SSH port open, we go towards the file. We say new, create a new Python file. I can say that my first Python script .py. So this is how the empty workspace gets created. This is a blank empty space here. Here is where I start writing my script now. So let's say this is the place where I write my script. On the left hand side, these are my old script. When you as well start preparing your script, you will see that day by day, gradually they start increasing the number of files. These are some of the opened files here. Okay, and these are some navigational tabs. And at the bottom, you will later see the output terminal for all your print functions. So this is how PyCharm is being designed. Every application got its own interface. Might be Microsoft Visual Studio, you will find bit difference. Eclipse, Atom, or Notepad++, Sublime, they will have a bit of different interface, UI interface, user interface. Okay, so to start with SSH process, again, watch yesterday's video. We discussed about SSH library. So can someone name some of the SSH library we discussed yesterday?
Netmiko,
Yes, Netmiko, Paramiko,
Paramiko,
PyNTC,
Nornir, PyNTC. Yeah.
Nornir. Yeah, these are all your SSH modules. We don't need all of them to take SSH because ultimately we only need SSH. So we should not use 2 or 3 just to take SSH. You just think from the requirement point of view. What is your requirement? Do you need multi-vendor support? Do you need to do a lot of things there like config push, send command, a low latency devices in your network, dealing with the very high latency devices, dealing with multi vendors, dealing with API, dealing with SSH. That is where you will decide which module you need to take. Netmiko is something which you can use it for 99%, you can use it. But sometimes what happens, you have a better options as well. Like NEPAM and PyNTC is for very simple use case. So if you want to go with PyNTC or NEPAM, that's also still 80 to 90% can serve your requirement, a basic requirement of config, push, fetch, backup, etc. You can do it. Okay. So first we have to call our SSH module. There are two ways normally we use to call any module. One method is this, where you will define the library name and then you will say import that particular function name you can see. This is one method. Second method is when you call the complete library itself. Okay, so the first line is when you know what is that function used for taking a SSH. Every module will have a dedicated function to take the SSH connectivity. Say for example, here in Netmiko, we call it as connect handler. This is a function which is responsible for initiating SSH connection. Similar way here in PyNTC, we have something called as get network drivers, or I can also say that NTC process, which is responsible for that. In the Nornir condition, you have something called init Nornir. These are the dedicated block which are responsible for taking SSH connectivity. Similar way here in Paramiko, we have something called as execute, which is responsible for that. And NEPAM also have its own unique name, what we use for taking up the SSH connectivity. Okay, so we can go with this type which is put up in the line 4 from library name, import, and that function name. So let's say if I have to use connect handler, if the module was Netmiko, then I'll put the function name here. I will define the library name here. Okay, any Python script you see, the first lines would be dedicated to call that particular package, because there are thousands of packages. The packages are not pre-called. You have to call in your script. So in your script, when you call Netmiko and its function connect handler, so this is how it would look like. What about the second method? Second method is by having it this way. Now, here you're more specific. Here you're calling the entire library. Some people might think, will it increase the bandwidth or any overhead on the device? Because you are calling a very specific function, whereas here you are calling entire library. So if you are dealing with even 1,000 to 2,000 devices, there is no such significance difference here. It will not put any overhead on the script or something. Okay. Might be if you have more than 10,000 device or dealing with a very large number, might be to some extent 2 to 10%. Again, this is not technically proven that that can put a overhead anyway, or it's the same without anything. Okay. So just don't bother about any overhead. Some developer have put the example code by writing this method. Some developer have put the example code with this. I'll tell you from writing the script point of view, yes, there is one more changes that you see. That is, when you use the first method, when you're defining its next few lines, you don't need to put that or call that library name once again. You can just straight away go and define this way. Okay, because you have already called it specifically from netmiko import connect handler, you can call it directly. But what happens in the second method is you just cannot call connect handler straight away. You have to integrate this with the library name in this order, netmiko.connect handler. Okay, that is one difference that you would see in terms of writing the code or calling the library. In the first method, when you have used this way, you can straight away call the function name itself. You don't have to again integrate with the module or library name. But in the second case, when you just call the entire library, you should also tag it with the library name, and then you have to call the function name. Where do you find all this function name is? You can open the GitHub or the source file for the package. So if you go to netmiko source code, you will find all the function names defined there. So these are all the supported vendors. So if you go to Cisco, see, these are other different templates. Okay. And also you can search for, let's say, connect handler source code. Let's search for connect handler. See here. These are the different blocks here. So you have a connect handler block, you can expand it. You see this, the complete block defined by the developer for only connect handler. Okay, so this is how he has defined each block, and those blocks we call it in our script. Okay, so let's go with one of them. Let's go with the first method. Let's say from netmiko import connect handler. This is how I will call my library. These libraries are not pre-installed, so you have to make sure you have installed it by going to file, settings, click on the plus symbol and look for netmiko and install the package. So it takes 2 to 10 seconds to install that package. Close this, click on OK, and there you go. From netmiko import connect handler. And then once you move down with the second line, you have to bring all your data that is needed for SSH connection. So let's say this is where you will define your data. How would you define multiple data? You have to send IP address, port numbers, username, password, lot of things you have to send. So definitely string and numbers you cannot use. You have to go with Python's array, like list you can go, dictionary you can go, tuples you can go, set you can go. Now we will go with dictionary method. So to write a dictionary, remember it's a key value pattern inserted in the curly bracket. So let's say I have to put IP address. Okay, so I will define the IP here. Let me take the IP address first. Show IP int brief. This is the IP address. Put a comma. Every line will end with a comma. Then you want to define username. Let's say the username is admin. Then you define the password. Cisco is your password. You might have configured that. Let's say you want to define port 22. And then most importantly, you have to define what device type you're dealing with. Are you dealing with Cisco, Junos, Arista, or what? Let's say I do not know as of now. So I am just putting a random characters there. Okay, so that I can backfill that. Okay, now that is the data. So this block from line 5 to line 11 is the data block. It's your dictionary pattern in Python. On the line 12, we will try to take the SSH connectivity. So let's say I'm taking the connectivity. So connect 1, 2, 3 equals to what block or what function is responsible for taking SSH? Connect handler. The minute I call that function, you see the topmost line also got activated. Until then, it was grayed out. So if you take it back, you see that goes back to a dead life. It's not called now. It's a grayed status. But when you call that block, it will also get activated. So now the module is activated within your script. How do you want to supply this data to this SSH function? You can go with double asterisk symbol. This is called as keyword argument. What is it called? Double asterisk. Let me increase the. Okay. So double asterisk keyword arguments. What is that meaning? What is the double star keyword argument meaning? That is, whatever you are having within this variable data 1, 2, 3, you have something put up in some format, right? So it has to extract that. It has to extract, give the value of IP for processing, then it will consider username, password, port number, and whatever order it wants to. So you're giving the data type of dictionary now. So if you're giving the data type dictionary, you go with the double asterisk symbol. But you can also go with single asterisk if in case instead of dictionary you might have used some other pattern like set pattern or might be list pattern. In this case, you can go with single asterisk symbol. Or if you don't want to go with any of them, then what would be the method? The method would be a bit lengthy. You should call the function name, and then you have to define data 1, 2, 3. You need IP data. You need data 1, 2, 3. You want username. So this is a bit manual and lengthy process. You have to define all in a comma separated format. Something like this. Data 1, 2, 3. You want password. What else we need? Data 1, 2, 3. I need the port number. Accessing them, accessing the dictionary. See, 3 methods are there. We have first method by giving 2 keyword arguments, 2 asterisk. This is the first method. Second method is by giving a single asterisk when if the data was represented in set or list. And third method is by giving your data in all one after one pattern. So I would definitely go with the first method because it's very simple. I just refer to that variable and it will do the extraction work. Why should I put lot of effort on defining each individual things, right? So we go with the extraction process. So here what is expected? Here the connect handler needs one thing first. It needs what device type it is. That is what the work of connect handler is. Out of 30 known device type or 30 plus known device type, the connect handler will see what is the device type out of the 30 plus from the list. If it see anything matched up, it is good to pass on the information to another internal function called as SSH dispatcher. Two things happens here on line number 12. Your connect handler will only want to see what device type you're considering. If you're considering a recognized list, you're good. It will pass on to SSH dispatcher. As per SSH dispatcher will then have the information to trigger the SSH. So it will do this SSH at the rate, whatever IP that you have defined, 172.16.28.78, whatever username you have triggered and whatever password you have triggered. Okay, so two things happens in single line on line number 12. But what if your device type is not good? Your device type is not recognized. What happens? You will fail at this line itself without passing it to the SSH dispatcher. Okay, so that is what will happen with our case. We have put some random name, so our connect handler will fail. So let's do till here. So let's say done or something like this. So if I initiate the script now, how do I initiate? So I just right click on that and click on run. Let's see what it says. See, it is giving me a huge list of device type. It says that whatever you have typed, it's not recognized. It says that unsupported device type. These are the supported ones. So you take anything from here. Now this is also hard coded behind in the package. So if you open up the connect handler block, you see you provided your data via keyword argument method, dictionary method. It will see if device is good or not. If device is not good, then it's gonna give you an error. Unsupported device, and currently these are supported. And if it is good, then what happens? It will send to the SSH dispatcher. So let's see also what SSH dispatcher needs. So if you just look for that block, that's another function there, expand it. So you will see that under the SSH dispatcher, it needs the different values now, base connection. So under base connection, you see these are some things that we have put in the dictionary. I put IP, I put username, password, port number. So this is where those keys I got it. No one asked me where did I get these keys. Could it be kept it as only user? Can it be kept only as password? No, we cannot do that because these are a predefined keys. Where is it defined? It's defined here in this block. So I have to use IP. I have to use all lowercase username, all lowercase password, port number, and device type. See, so these are something which I have to use as it is. So that is why I kept those keys purposefully so that we don't make an issue. Okay, so that's the correlation between connect handler, device type, and the next block. So let's backfill now. I will take Cisco iOS, which is my actual device. Keep it here. Okay, Cisco. Okay, 1 second. This is data 123, and this is Cisco iOS now. And you see that we got a successful result as whatever we had commented here. So instead of doing or taking that as a final output, what we can do, we can push something. Let's say we push a show run and we fetch the output. So what I do is I say to collect the output, Okay. I'll make use of the transport channel name, connect123, and I will send some command. So what command I want to send? Let's say show run. And this I want to read it on my terminal. And then I will play the button. See here. So we have the complete output as of now. So it took the connection, whatever yes, no Diffie-Hellman concept was there, it automatically fixed it. Second thing, what it did terminal length automatically by itself. NetMiko will do it, not required that all modules does it. NetMiko does it, and we have the output with us. So in the next class, what we will see, how do we take a copy of this and store in the text file? Okay, so we can do that. We can just put all this running config in the notepad and store somewhere. So yes, guys. So any doubt so far? So let's wrap up here. And in the next class, we will start working on the enhancement of the script. So we will also check some more method. Let me show you some more thing. Let's say I don't want to put the password here. Instead, I want to go with the real-time execution. Enter the password. And then if you play the button, now what happens? Your script will start prompting. So you can say Cisco, enter. And then you have the output. You want some sort of banners or some sort of that, you can do that too. You can say, I want to take, let's say, some banner look multiplied by 20 times. And you want to put down a message output for show running config. Okay, so just a banner this is, and you play the button. Enter the password Cisco, and you see that banner on the first line. Output for show running. Okay, so these are some things we will do step by step in the next class, and we take the output in a proper way in a notepad, and then we start enhancing and adding block by block. So this is a very basic script on the first day. And from class by class, you will see the number of lines increasing. So if you see one of my ongoing batch, you can see that there are all now they started writing 30 lines here. So this keeps increasing. It might go till 50th line, 60th. Okay, because of the complexity and the requirement. Yes, guys. So if you have any doubt, please shoot here. Any question with any line or anything which you could not digest?
Actually, a hard code like this complete script, a hard code script, we can manage like a smart script, like as you mentioned in that, right? Uh, like in PyCharm, you're converting that in smart code. We have that manual lab manual script is there, right? You are shown that before.
Yes.
It's like we have to.
Yeah, so you will
Is
get all
this
lab manual and all other things in the web portal itself.
okay?
Okay.
So those are all hard coded commands, like scripts.
I am
I
not
didn't
getting
get
what
that. So
exactly you're asking, but see, we discuss script by script, and the same script we put in the document format and will be uploaded in the class portal. So that once you're watching the video, you can also download the script and practice at the same time.
So sorry, I want to confirm.
okay.
Sorry, I want to confirm port 22. Is it compulsory to put the port number?
No, this is not compulsory. This line is not compulsory.
Okay.
By default, SSH will trigger on 22.
Okay.
Is any doubt, guys? Stan, Sharif, Pushpender, Adi.
Yeah, I'm good for
Hi.
now.
Is this
Okay.
same script work for Juniper?
Yeah, same will work for any different vendor, but you have to just make change with the device type. Let's say if it is a Junos, you will put the respective name, and also you will change
Okay.
the command line.
Okay. So it's a case sensitive.
Okay, so
Okay.
just two changes you will do it if you go to another vendor from Cisco.
Okay.
Sorry, one more question, please. When you are defining in the dictionary, you have IP. Can host be used instead of IP?
Yeah, you can use host, but
Okay.
host is actually for a FQDN purpose.
It's for what?
FQDN. FQDN in the sense R01 example.com. So this should resolve to a proper IP then.
So IP is better. It's better than host.
Nothing like that. It depends on how your infrastructure is. So if you can put a URL based and if you have a proper DNS which can resolve,
Okay.
then you can go with this. Otherwise, you go with
Okay.
IP if you do
Oh,
not have a IP
okay.
resolution.
Resolution. Oh, good. That's
So
good.
DNS mapping is dependent on this.
Yeah, DNS mapping is your infrastructure. Nothing to do
Right,
from
right.
not nothing to do from the scripting point.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Okay.
You are defining your dictionary. Is it case sensitive? Take for instance the username. If I make everything capital letter.
Yeah, these are all case sensitive on the left hand side.
Wow. They are case sensitive. Wow. Ah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. So let's catch up on the next class. So, guys, this batch is starting from next. This is a weekdays batch, so it will start from next Monday, and the class hours is 10 p.m. IST, which is in India. And alternative, we also have another weekend batch too in the next month. However, so that would be might be Saturday Sunday in the evening slot, might be like 5 p.m. India or something. And to contact and for admission, you can reach out at this number or you can mail at so and so email ID. All the pricing, all the details will be shared when you reach out. And this is 1.5 month of course duration. You get the live class, you get the recording lifetime access for all the classes. All the scripts are being documented in a Word format as a like a workbook or something, which will be put up in the web portal itself, which you can download. And then this consists of Python topics. Then we go Ansible. Then we go towards API, and then we cover the Cisco Devnet curriculum. And the DevNet notes, you can find DevNet notes, the home lab setup, and the Postman collections for API related topics. You will find it in our Google Drive. So this all things you get once you have enrolled and you have the necessary access. And we have 24/7 support after the class as well. If you're stuck with something, we have a people who will guide you. Okay, so this is some benefits of joining the course. Yes, guys. So if there is no doubt, we will wind up and we'll catch up in the class onwards. Okay. So any doubt?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, Ganesh. So yes, tell me. Yes, Ganesh, you there? Okay, Ganeshwar, I think I lost you. It might be due to net connectivity. You can WhatsApp me, okay? The same number you can WhatsApp or email regarding any course enrollment process. So thank you everyone and enjoy your weekend. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
We'll
okay,
meet
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Saga. Okay, Saga, this is quite interesting. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.